Have you ever wondered where the grand tradition of military parades began? The spectacle of soldiers marching in formation, the rhythmic beat of drums, the display of weaponry, all these are components of a military parade. It's a tradition steeped in history, a showcase of a nation's military might and discipline. But where did it all start? From the ancient civilizations, who used parades to intimidate their enemies and celebrate victories, to the more recent parades that have become synonymous with national holidays and commemorative events, the military parade has always been a significant part of human history. Some of the largest and most impressive parades have involved thousands of troops, a stunning array of weaponry, and have been watched by millions around the world. So are you ready to delve into the past and discover how these grand displays of military prowess came to be? Join us on a journey through time as we uncover the origins and evolution of military parades. The earliest known military parade can be traced back to the Middle Kingdom of ancient Egypt. This was a time when the Nile's fertile floodplains were ruled by pharaohs with iron fists and grand ambitions. Among these rulers, Pharaoh Senusret III stands out. Renowned as a warrior king, Senusret III held military parades that were spectacles of power and precision. Now, you might be wondering, why a military parade? Well, in the context of ancient Egypt, these parades served a dual purpose. First, they were a show of strength. The pharaoh would display his well-disciplined troops, state-of-the-art weaponry, and majestic war chariots, sending a clear message to friends and foes alike: mess with us, and you'll have to deal with this. Second, these parades were a form of propaganda. They were designed to reinforce the divine status of the pharaoh. In a society where the pharaoh was seen as a god on earth, military parades were a way to showcase his power and benevolence. They were grand affairs, with soldiers marching in perfect unison, their shiny bronze weapons glittering in the Egyptian sun. The spectacle was designed to impress and inspire awe among the populace, ensuring their continued loyalty to the pharaoh. But it wasn't just about the show of power. These parades also had a religious component. They often culminated in a temple, where the pharaoh would offer thanks to the gods for their protection and favor. In this way, the military parade also served as a public demonstration of the pharaoh's piety and devotion to the gods. So, in ancient Egypt, military parades were more than just a march of soldiers. They were a complex blend of power projection, propaganda, and religious ritual, all crafted to maintain the pharaoh's rule and the stability of the kingdom. While the Egyptians were pioneers in many things, including military parades, they certainly weren't the only ancient civilization to hold them. From the Romans to the Chinese, military parades have been a part of cultures worldwide. Let's take a journey back in time to understand how these civilizations embraced this tradition. In ancient Rome, military parades, or triumphs as they were known, were grand affairs. They were held to celebrate a significant military victory and were led by the victorious general. This was not only a show of military prowess, but also a way for the general to gain popularity among the citizens. The parade would wind its way through the city, showcasing the spoils of war, captives, and the might of the Roman legions. It was a spectacle that etched itself into the collective memory of the Roman people and reinforced the strength and power of the Roman Empire. Now let's cross continents and delve into the military parades of ancient China. The Chinese held military parades to demonstrate their strength and unity, somewhat similar to the Romans. However, the Chinese also used these parades to honor their deities and ancestors. Soldiers would march in perfect unison, their movements synchronized to the beat of drums. The emperor, perched high on his throne, would watch the parade, a symbol of his divine right to rule and the power of the Chinese Empire. Now, if we compare these with the Egyptian military parades, we see some differences. The Egyptian parades were more religious in nature, often tied to important festivals. These parades showcased the pharaoh's connection to the gods, reinforcing his divine right to rule. The Egyptian military parades were more than just a show of force. They were a fusion of religion, culture, and power. These parades, from Rome to China and Egypt, were not just about flexing military muscle. They were a means of communication, a way to convey messages of power, victory, and divine rights. They were a way to unite the people, to instill a sense of pride and belonging. These parades were not only displays of military might, but also important political and cultural events. Could Joshua's march around Jericho be considered a military parade? Now, that's a question worth pondering, isn't it? Let's dive deep into this biblical narrative to find out. In the book of Joshua, we find an intriguing account of a military conquest. Joshua, the leader of the Israelites, was commanded by God to march around the city of Jericho for 7 days. Accompanied by 7 priests carrying trumpets and the Ark of the Covenant, Joshua led his army in a procession that would eventually lead to the famed city's downfall. Now let's break this down. A parade typically involves a procession of people, often in elaborate or formal attire, marching in a coordinated manner. There's usually a purpose, a grandeur, and a sense of spectacle. If we apply these parameters to Joshua's march, we can certainly see some parallels. Firstly, there was an organized procession: Joshua, his soldiers, the priests, and the ark. Secondly, there was a purpose: to bring down the mighty walls of Jericho. The Ark of the Covenant, a sacred artifact, added a significant degree of solemnity and grandeur to their march. The trumpets, when blown, would have created a spectacle, a show of power and divine backing. However, it's also crucial to note the difference. Military parades are often celebratory, showcasing strength and unity, while Joshua's march was a prelude to a battle, a divine strategy for conquest. It was not meant to boost morale or impress onlookers, but to obey a divine mandate. So, while there are elements of a parade in Joshua's march, it doesn't quite fit our modern definition of a military parade. It does, however, highlight how military processions have been used in various forms throughout history for purposes beyond mere display. In conclusion, whether or not you consider Joshua's march a parade, there's no denying that military parades have deep historical roots. And these roots can be traced back to times even before the concept of a parade, as we know it today, was fully formed. As societies evolved, so too did military parades. The Middle Ages saw military parades become not just a way to intimidate potential enemies, but also a means of demonstrating a kingdom's power and unity. Knights would parade in full armor, their horses adorned with the heraldic symbols of their lords. These parades were often tied to tournaments, grand spectacles of combat and chivalry that served both to entertain and to showcase martial prowess. The Renaissance, with its rebirth of classical learning, brought a new aesthetic to military parades. Inspired by the grand processions of ancient Rome, rulers began to incorporate elements of theatre and pageantry. They aimed to dazzle and awe, using the parades to reinforce their status and authority. These were not just displays of military strength, but of cultural sophistication and artistic achievement. But it was during the French Revolution and the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte that military parades truly became a political tool. Napoleon, a master of propaganda, used parades to rally public support and instill a sense of national pride. His Grand Parade in Paris, after his coronation as emperor, is still remembered as one of the most impressive displays of military grandeur. The 19th century saw the adoption of military parades by modern militaries around the world. The United States, for instance, began holding parades to mark important occasions like the 4th of July and to welcome home victorious troops. In Britain, the Trooping the Colour parade became an annual tradition to celebrate the monarch's birthday, featuring the household division in their iconic red tunics and bearskin hats. In the 20th century, military parades reached new heights with the advent of mechanized warfare. Tanks, planes, and later ballistic missiles took center stage, reflecting the changing face of warfare. These parades became a platform for nations to showcase their technological advancements and military capabilities. In the Soviet Union, the annual Victory Day parade in Red Square became a hallmark of the Cold War, demonstrating the power of the Soviet military to the world. China's National Day parade follows a similar pattern, with the display of its latest military hardware being closely watched by global powers. Today, military parades are often seen as a throwback to a bygone era, a piece of pageantry and tradition, but they remain a potent symbol of national pride and power. Whether it's the Bastille Day Parade in France, India's Republic Day Parade, or the many parades held in the United States, these events continue to captivate audiences with their display of precision, discipline, and martial prowess. Yet, they are also a reminder of the cost of war and the sacrifices made by those in uniform. They serve as a moment of reflection, a chance to honor those who serve and to remember those who have given their lives in the line of duty. Today, Military parades are a global phenomenon, held by nations big and small. From Red Square to the Champs-Élysées, let's delve into some of the most impressive military parades ever held. The Victory Day Parade on Moscow's Red Square is a spectacle to behold. Held annually on the 9th of May, it commemorates the capitulation of Nazi Germany to the Soviet Union in the Second World War. The parade showcases Russia's military might, with an array of tanks, missiles, and high-tech weaponry rolling through the square. But it's not just about the hardware. The March of the Soldiers, synchronized to the beat of the military band, is a sight that evokes a sense of awe and deep respect. Then there's the Bastille Day Military Parade in Paris, the oldest and largest regular military parade in Europe. Every 14th of July, the French people come together to watch their armed forces march down the Champs-Élysées, from the Arc de Triomphe to the Place de la Concorde. It's a grand display of national unity, with the French tricolour flying high and proud. The North Korean Arirang Mass Games, though not a traditional parade, deserves a mention for its sheer scale and choreography. Featuring over 100,000 participants in a highly coordinated display of gymnastics, dance, and artistry, it's a testament to the discipline and organization of the North Korean regime. And who can forget the grandeur of the Chinese National Day Parade? Held every 1st of October, it marks the founding of the People's Republic of China. With thousands of troops marching in perfect unison, followed by a display of China's most advanced military technology, it's a parade that truly embodies the spirit of the Chinese nation. Each of these parades is a spectacle in its own right. But beyond the pomp and pageantry, they hold deeper significance. They are a display of national unity, a celebration of history and culture, and a demonstration of military strength and discipline. These parades are not just about military power, but also about national pride and unity. In the 21st century, what role do military parades play? Military parades in today's world hold a multifaceted significance. More than just a display of military might, parades serve as a potent symbol of national unity and pride. They offer a platform for a nation to celebrate its history, its achievements, and its people. The thunderous roar of tanks, the rhythmic march of soldiers, the soaring flight of military aircraft, all these elements combine to create a spectacle that resonates with a sense of collective identity and shared pride. But the significance of military parades extends beyond national celebrations. They also serve as a powerful tool for propaganda. By showcasing the latest military technology and the disciplined ranks of their armed forces, nations can send a clear message to the world about their military prowess and readiness to defend their sovereignty. This show of strength can serve as a deterrent to potential adversaries, reinforcing the nation's standing on the global stage. Yet, the role of military parades as propaganda is not confined to international relations. Domestically, they can be used to foster a sense of national unity and patriotism. They can also be employed to shape public opinion and bolster support for the government, particularly in times of political uncertainty or social unrest. Moreover, military parades serve an important ceremonial purpose. They offer an opportunity for the nation to pay tribute to its military personnel, past and present. They provide a platform for honoring the sacrifices made by these individuals in the line of duty, fostering a deep sense of respect and gratitude among the public. However, it's important to note that while military parades can inspire awe and pride, they can also evoke controversy and criticism. Some view them as an unnecessary display of militarism, while others question the substantial costs involved in staging such grand events. Whether you're a military buff or not, there's no denying the power and spectacle of a military parade. Each one carries with it a rich tapestry of meanings, reflecting the complex interplay of history, politics, and culture that defines our modern world. From ancient Egypt to modern-day Moscow, military parades have come a long way. They began as displays of power and might, with the earliest known military parade occurring in ancient Egypt. Other civilizations too adopted this tradition, each adding their unique flair and significance to the practice. Even in biblical times, we see instances of what could be considered military parades, such as Joshua's march around Jericho. Over the centuries, military parades have evolved, reflecting the changing times and advancements in warfare. They've transformed from mere displays of might to grand spectacles of national pride and unity. and they've given us some of the most unforgettable moments of pomp and pageantry. Today, military parades still hold a significant place in our societies. They serve as a reminder of our past, a celebration of our present, and a symbol of our future resilience. Next time you watch a military parade, remember the rich history behind this grand tradition.